This vein here is connected to this point out here. This point here. This point here goes out. It is amazing, the structure. And I've been studying leaves for a long time. And I've been collecting leaves. And I'll show you some of my leaves I collected recently. And I'll point the stem down. The stem's a little bit longer now than I show here, so I'm going to go out a little bit more.
We're on.
And it has a, thank you, Gloria. Okay, so, I've been studying leaves for a long time. Okay, this one here. And this one goes out to the end. I've always been fascinated with the curves. I love these curves. This one here goes out. Now I got this bottom section here. If you'll see my drawing, this bottom section, I follow this section down here. This bottom section, the left side, and it's following those veins right along. There's points. These veins connect to the points. And I've got that one on this side, and I'll get this other section here on the right. Let's see, this comes in. There it comes down. And the leaf is not symmetrical on both sides. It's it's asymmetric, which means they aren't exactly the same on both sides of the leaf. So they'll have a different shape. This one here goes up. Fantastic. I just love these curves. This goes on out to the top. Okay. Now I'm going to draw that in a little bit darker so we can really see what's going on here. Okay. So I've got the what I've done is I've followed the contour. Well, I did. I give you a full screen tonight. I didn't want to make it small. I gave you a fun. I went and drew the stem in. And I put in the veins of the leaf. I drew the veins in, and then I follow the contour around, and they connect. These veins go out to the points. Each one of these veins, especially this one right here, you see the vein go right out to that main point right there. And over here, this vein here is the main point, goes out to the point of the leaf right out here. And all these little sections here all have connections with a vein. All have a connection. So that's how you draw. That's how you draw a maple leaf. So starting at the bottom here, and this is much darker now. This is going to be. And I can go ahead and make any kind of corrections. These come to a sharp point. I love these curves. I love the scallops. And I also know, I don't care how many leaves are on a tree, every tree is different. It's just like people. Everybody has a different DNA, and so does a leaf. There are no duplicates. Can you imagine the millions and billions of tree leaves that are out there? Every one is individual. Every leaf is individual on a tree. That's why it's so fascinating. You'll never find two of those. You'll find similar shapes, but they won't be exactly the same. They all have little different characteristics. Because they grew on a tree, and they had a different atmosphere. The wind blew them. They had a different connection with the water flow from the roots. Some will grow a little bit faster than the other. Some of them get wind blown and fall off ahead of time. This center one here is center vein here, and it has these little veins that go off to the side here, and they have small veins too. This has small veins, little branches. I call them branches because they're just like a tree. This is like the main trunk here, and they'll have these branches that all branch out to the sides. It's amazing. Nature is amazing. How this has been structured. And then the trees shed their leaves at the fall, and then they build again in the spring, and it starts all over again. And the stem will come down. Okay. Okay, that's my drawing. That's my drawing of a maple leaf. Let's see. I think I'll title here maple. Okay, that's a maple leaf, and that's my. This is my reference photograph, and I made it really. I did a blow up screen here so you can see it up really up close. That's the blow up screen of what I drew. So it's a lot of fun to go out now. I'm going to draw one more, and that's going to be. I'm going to flip this one over. Now this is the oak leaf. That's the oak leaf. I got it inside loose in the paper. That's okay. So this is like a standard oak leaf, and there's different varieties of oaks also. You get the red oaks and green, the black oaks. Okay, I'm going to move this aside now. That's my maple leaf. So now we're going to go ahead and draw. I'm going to go ahead and draw the oak leaf, okay? And in my reference, I'll go back to my reference book. I have several samples of oak leaves in here. This is something I got off the internet. I just went on the internet and just typed in oak leaf, and these are general shapes of an oak leaf. You see different kinds of oaks have different shapes. This one here is one kind. This is another with a pointed shape, with the pointed edges. These are the scarlet oak tree, which has different shapes. Now this is a shape. Here's a shape of one that the pin oak leaf I'm very familiar with because I have one right outside the front of my house. This pin oak right here, and that's kind of the one I have here on my sample. The pin oak leaf right here. And this came off the internet. And here's the one right off the tree. And it's not exactly the same shape as the photograph, but it comes pretty close to it. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up now. I think what I'll do is I'll put the paper vertical like this, and I'll draw it in like this. Vertical. Well, maybe a little angle. I've got to put a little angle to it because it's so long. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it at an angle. All right. So let's start down here at the bottom, the base. And you won't be able to see that unless I move it up. I just kind of draw that in there. And I'm just going to get the general characteristic. This one comes out and it has a straight line. And it comes out, it's a little bit, the second leaf is a little bit bigger. And then it has a little angle. It comes in a little bit straighter. And this has a nice big arc up here. And it comes to a little dip and a point. Right there. That's one side. That's one side of the leaf, okay? Come down here, it has a little knob at the end. Okay, on this side, I'll get this one in to the right side. Comes in. And it curves out here. It's a little bit not symmetrical. It's got its own angle, its own size. It comes in a little bit above. Comes in. This goes out a little bit higher. Not symmetrical. Comes in. And it goes in as a little narrow band there. Then it goes on up, and there's a little. Okay. Now it has its stem. Now I have to erase this a little bit. This would come in here. It's got the central stem in the center. It's got the vein, central vein in the center, and then it has its branches out to the points. It follows along the same characteristic of all the leaves. All leaves have the same characteristic. They have these veins that go out to the points. This one here goes out there. And they have other little veins along the path of the main stem. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to redraw this a little bit darker drawing. This would come out here, probably be a little bit bigger out here. Following the contour. I love these little scallops. Though when they zoom in, there's a little I just call it a swooping motion here, a little curve, and they come down. And there's a large curve here, It goes down, it's straight along here, comes down, and it comes down to the end. And those veins go along the pathway to the points. That's how the leaf passes nourishment to the leaf through these veins. Comes from the roots all the way up to the tip of the leaf, through these veins, every one of them. And of course, I haven't counted the leaves on that tree, oak tree out in the front yard, but there's got to be several million. I've already raked up about 500,000 already. Okay, so I'll turn it this way. That's the shape of the oak leaf. That's the shape of this oak leaf, and that's the shape of that. Okay, so what you can do, let's go back and review quickly. Now I got some other things I want to show you. So on this one, the way I set up tonight to watch these, the maple leaf, what you can do is take a screenshot of this. I'll move it away. Take a screenshot with your computer. Take a screenshot and you can draw that one. There it is. No, it'll go out of shape.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's moved over.
No, it's right there. It's right there. I got it lined up where I should.
Oh, okay.
There you are.
There we go.
There you are. All right. You can take a screenshot. That's the maple leaf that I drew. That's the maple leaf. Okay. And that's the drawing I did. That's the drawing. And I did a drawing on a piece of 8.5 by 11 sheet of sketch paper. And you can take a snapshot of that. Okay. And then I flipped it over. And this, you can take a snapshot of the oak leaf, the pin oak. And you can look it up on the internet. You can just put in the oak tree, and then you can look down at the configuration. You say a pin oak tree, and there's several different oak trees, oak leaves. And then this is the one I drew of the pin oak. That's the leaf. That's the leaf there. You can take a snapshot. And there's the leaf that I drew. Okay. Now, one I want to share with you now is the way I do it. I love drawing leaves. I've been doing it for years. This is one of my kind of a hobby of mine a little bit. But when I'm out walking, now here's another oak tree, another oak leaf, different kind. There's a pin oak, and you can make a study of all kinds of. This is a pin oak tree, but this is another oak tree here, and they got a similar shape, but there's like this one here has more points to it, and this has less points, but it's still an oak leaf tree. It's still an oak leaf tree. Now there's also other kinds. This one different. Also, You might find some leaves out there to store. This is a red one. This is like a cherry, a cherry leaf off of a cherry tree, and it's still red. It hasn't lost its color yet, and that'll stay in this folder. I put this in a sheet protector a street protector, and just put it in there on a piece of paper, okay, and kept it dry, and lay it flat. Put it inside and put in something protective like a storage bag or in a sheet protector, and then put a piece of paper in there, and then lay it flat. Put a heavy book or something on it to flatten it out. Okay, I like to pick them up when they're still a little bit damp. That way, when I put them down, they'll dry out of their own. Now here's also a nice collection here. This is maple leaves here. Now there's two kinds. There's a regular, sort of a larger maple leaf, and this is called a green maple. You see the tree. Now I've had this leaf here probably for 2 years, and it's still green. I found it on the ground as a green leaf, and it retained its color. I put it in a storage bag, zipped it up, and that's how I kept it. Okay. And they're good references. You can take them out now. Here's the one I found the other day, which I'm really I want to find this is the maple. I want to find the maple tree that produced this leaf. It is so big I can hardly put it on the screen. But it measures a good 9.5 inches wide and a good 10 inches long, and that is a monster. That's a monster of a maple. That's a maple leaf. That's a monster of a leaf right there. And you can see the beautiful veins on that one. How they spoke out from the center. This is a very good sample here of how the veins go out to the end of the leaf. Here's the main vein here out to this part, and there's another main vein up here, and then a center vein all the way up to the top. And the little branches and so forth that come out looks just like a tree. That's always fascinated me, that the branches on the leaf are just like a tree. The veins, just like a tree. Now I put this in a storage bag, and I put a paper towel in between. Now, this was a little bit damp when I picked it up, so I put it under a book, laid it out. But I got this about a day ago, but it's all nice and dry now. Okay, and that'll preserve it. That'll preserve it for a long time. I've had leaves for 10, 15 years, and they'll stay the same. Once you get them in a bag or dried out, they'll stay that way, even when there's a little color. Okay, and here's a couple more oak I picked up today. This is a fresh one I picked up today from the ground, out on the street, right under my tree, right there. Here's that pin oak. It's pretty big. And here's a smaller one, but it's still got the color in it. It's got a little bit of green and yellow in it. It fell off the tree, but I can save that. That color's going to stay there. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to dry out, and it's going to remain green and yellow. Now these are wonderful for drawing, and also good for sketching. And you can sketch, use watercolor pencils. You can use use color pencils. You do a little shading with just black and white. These would be a lot of fun to put some color on them with a color pencil or with some watercolor. But to get the idea of how a leaf is constructed, and also the colors they come in, is very interesting. This one here would be an interesting one to paint. You get the yellow ochres, the burnt siennas. There's still a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow green in this section here, but a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of burnt sienna would make this one come alive. Okay, on a piece of paper. Okay, well that's my demonstration for drawing leaves. Let me take you to my main camera. Hey. Well, number one, I hope that excites you about going out and finding some leaves. And if you're right now is the perfect time of the season. There's leaves all over the ground. They're blowing around. And what I do is I take a bag out with me. I take a storage bag or a couple storage bags, and I take a couple, maybe 2 or 3 paper towels. Because you're gonna, if they're damp, you want to pick them up while they're damp, and then you want to protect them with a paper towel. And then store them very carefully in that storage bag. You can get 4 or 5 in there, and to get them back to your studio or to your workroom, and then you can spread them out. And then you want to lay them flat with a paper towel underneath, and you want to put a little bit of weight on them, and let them dry flat. Let them dry flat. Then you can put them in a storage bag, and you can keep those for a long time. I've had mine for years, and they haven't changed. So I would recommend it. And then you can use them for drawing, you use them for paintings, use them for references, and so forth. And it's a good exercise for drawing because every leaf you pick up will have a different shape. And that's what we're looking for as an artist. We're always looking for a variety of shapes, and different colors. And so in the fall, you're going to find red leaves, green leaves, brown leaves, yellow leaves, and so forth. So you're going to have a great opportunity to capture not only the fall colors, but the fact that you're going to get some shapes that you can draw. And then as you study the leaves, you'll find that every one of them is different, and they all have different characteristics to them. The family of maple leaves all look basically the same, except each leaf is individual, depending on how they were grown and where they came from, what part of the tree, and so forth, how they're blown off. So I hope you enjoyed that tonight. Also, you can also take a screenshot from this video. You can stop the film, take a screenshot, and then, hey, try drawing and do a little sketching, maybe a little coloring, and then put it on my Facebook page, everettwatercolors.com, Everett's Watercolors Art Group on Facebook, and share it with the group. I'd like to see you there. I'd appreciate that. And if this is your first time, give me a thumbs up and a like, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll be back again next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. with Simply Drawing with Everett. I look forward to that. So until next week, and also on Sunday, I'm going to release another Anyone Can Draw with One Line Only. That'll be on Sunday. And on my painting, I'll be back next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Everett's Watercolors. So there's an idea of how you can see my next video. Subscribe to my channel, and you'll be notified of my next live video. So until next week, you all stay safe. You all take care, and bye.